Welcome to Praying Through the Bible, number 48. Number 16, a prayer for the hard to believe. Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself. Eleanor Roosevelt. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. Albert Einstein. Apparently, Einstein knew the Israelites, but the Israelites did not know Eleanor. There are biblical stories that are hard to fathom, so sensational they appear unreal. At times, I'll admit, I teeter between accepting versus some literary device as a rationale to just explain them all away, such as Korah's rebellion. There are three aspects. One, religious discontent based upon personal pride, Numbers 16, verses 3 and 9. 2, political character assassination, chapter 16, verses 12 through 14. And 3, misdirected blame, chapter 16, verses 41 through 42. Like prior revolts, these failed. The earth, listen to this, the earth swallows them up. The earth opens up, and Korah and his ilk are descending alive into Sheol. That's what the chapter says. Chapter 16, verses 30 through 33. Then fire burns 250 followers. Chapter 16, verse 35, reminiscent of Nadab and Abihu, which likewise involves fire pans. Numbers 16, verse 17, and Leviticus 10. Following this, it's not over yet, is another plague. Chapter 16, verse 46. This pericope is so over the top, I'm surprised it is not more well known. Maybe their sins and motivations are too close to home, so we ignore them. But wait, these divine demonstrations are not the part hard to believe. Once you accept the first 4 words of the Bible, in the beginning, God, believing all the miracles that follow is easy. So what's the unbelievable part? It's the Einsteinian spiritual insanity. If I didn't know better, if I didn't believe in inspiration, I would think that Moses is in a writing rut. Lazy writers keep returning to the same imagination well. So do lazy sinners. The Israelites, though, really are that stubborn. Add to that the impeccably insane timing. This is after Israel rejects Canaan out of fear, then gets walloped because they try to take care of it themselves, and also after Miriam and Aaron's mutiny. Obviously, they hadn't heard Eleanor Roosevelt's advice. Possibly it was the excitement of a new adventure, entering Canaan, and then the disappointment of walking away empty-handed, leaving Canaan. Emotional intoxication. Think about that. Emotional intoxication. It can lead to all kinds of rebellions and sins at the cost of their own lives. Chapter 16, verse 38. I wish Aaron would have advised, look, we made the same mistake. Learn from the mistakes of others. You can't live long enough to make them all yourself. And you won't live long if you don't. Let's focus on Moses' prayers. The first asks God not to respect or accept the rebels' offering. Chapter 16, verse 15. Seems out of character for a humble man. Then again, their sins conspired against and despised the Lord. Chapter 16, verses 11 and 30. And they had complained against innocent men, implying false allegations. Chapter 16, verses 11 through 15. The second prayer, the second request, the physical salvation of the dubiously innocent, the crowd around them. Chapter 16, verses 19 through 22. Moses puts all the blame on Korah, but rarely does one person make up all of the blame. Have you noticed Moses continually is willing to overlook so much for those he leads and loves so much? How unbelievable is that? Let's learn these lessons of humility. 1, humility accepts that God takes control and judges. Consider these phrases from the text. He, that is God, will let the one he chooses come near him. Chapter 16, verse 5. And the Lord sent me to do all these things, and it was not of my own will. Chapter 16, verse 28. 2, humility accepts our place in God's plan. Moses asked Korah, isn't it enough for you that the God of Israel has separated you from the Israelite community to bring you near to himself, to perform the work at the Lord's tabernacle and to stand before the community to minister to them? Basically, he's saying, isn't it enough that God has chosen you, a Levite, to do all these things? How unbelievable is the apparent unspoken answer. God has not done enough for me. Are we willing to learn from their mistakes? What is our prayer challenge? Pray for contentment for our place in God's kingdom, whether great or small. That we will not take our own revenge against personal insults. And pray for the well-being of those who really don't like us and keep proving it. Start praying. This has been Praying Through the Bible number 48, a prayer for the hard to believe from Numbers 16. If this has been a blessing to you, please share, please subscribe, and please help me grow praying through the Bible.